Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Crystal Thompson here for Studio Katia. First weekend post Creativation. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We're going to make a really cool card. I'm not going to sneak peek any of the new release. I know some of our bloggers and ladies that went to Creativation are giving us sneak peeks, but I'm not gonna quite do that just yet. We are gonna be creating this really cool card. So if you're here on YouTube or Facebook, you'll see the products that we're using in that thumbnail of the finished product. So with that being said, let me show you what we are going to be using today. So we are going to use the scallop hearts, and this is one of the dies. I believe it was released last Valentine's Day, if I'm correct. And it's just a beautiful die that has all these gorgeous hearts. And then it has this beautiful scallop edge. And I really like it because if you separate those out, you can see that scallop. And I already went ahead and pre-cut my scallop rectangle out just for making this a lot quicker for you. And then we're going to place it on our card base, and it's going to layer right on top, and it's just going to be just big enough to give us a nice little clean edge. Then we are going to be using the lots of gifts trimming, and so this is a border stamp. So the tutorial today is how to use border stamps for other than borders. So with that being said, we're going to make cards that have this stamp twice, and we're going to use the one that we had scalloped. And so I already have it on my Misty and it's ready to go. And then for our sentiment, we are using the Happy Birthday Cactus Hugs. And again, this is an older set as well. And we're really just using the sentiment because it really is so pretty. Then for our ink blending, we're going to heat emboss and stamp using Simon Says Stamp Embossing Powder in white and clear. And then we're going to do a rainbow inspired. We're going to be using worn lipstick, scattered straw, broken china, wilted violet, and then when we blend these, they're kind of going to blend into a really cool rainbow, so you actually don't have to get a ton of colors. And we're gonna, for that purpose, we're going to be using the amazing Studio Katia brushes and the spinner. So guys, Crystal Thompson here. I'm so glad you are spending a couple minutes with me today. Be sure to comment. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. So whatever channel you prefer to be watching today, be sure you comment and let us know where you're watching from and what are you doing today or what did you do today. We really love to know what is going on in your lives. So we are going to begin by the heat embossing process. We are going to grab our Misty, and this is a regular size, what is this, not 8 by 6 finished size essentially. And we're going to be stamping the lots of gifts trimmings onto the scallop border that we cut out already from the heart scallop border die. So what we're going to do here, because it is such a large die or such a large stamp, we usually don't use the magnets on the Misty. So what you can do, you can grab a two-sided piece of tape, and in this case this is just painter's tape. I'm not using anything that was specifically made for paper crafts. But I've touched it just enough that I removed some of the sticky so it's not going to tear up my cardstock. So before we place it, I like doing this on the Misty because I can really see where this is going to go. And then you can go ahead and place that sticky back. You hold one corner, and I'm just going to move it just a bit. And now it's not going to lift. With that being said, I'm going to bring in my Simon Says Stamp Clear ink. And you can use whatever clear embossing ink you have in your craft room. This is just what I have in mine. And I really like doing cards of stamps that we already have. So this Lots of Gifts trimming was actually released right before Christmas. It was part of the winter release, if I'm correct. And so it's just, something that you might already bought if you bought a bundle from Studio Katia. So guys, we do have a gift card available to the people that are watching live. It's a $15 gift card to the Studio Katia store. And be sure you comment because I picked the winners out of the comments from the live stream. And then there's going to be a second gift card available, another $15 to Studio Katia for those of you that share the stream. And that way, when you share it, you are entered to win that other $15 gift card. I will pick winners and send you a private message via Facebook or DM on YouTube, depending where you're watching from. And I like to keep those nice and private just because, you know, we have had some issues with same names or whatnot. So anyways, just kind of wanted, that's like my PR there for rules and regulations on the giveaway. We are now putting some white embossing powder onto that stamping. And I am using just a white detail. And the reason why is that the border trimmings have some gorgeous little presents. And I feel like this was probably inspired to be a Christmas card or a Christmas stamp. But we're going to use it for everything, right? So I'm going to turn on my heat embossing gun. I'm sorry. And we are going to heat emboss from the bottom. That way we don't blow any of our heat embossing powder out of the stamped image. Just gonna wait a couple seconds to get this going. After this stream, this is a one-woman show. I'm going to go and put all the products that I ended up using with this project. So I am so excited for the new release. It releases on Tuesday. So be sure that you are tuning in. I will come on live again on Tuesday and give you a first peek at the Studio Cadia release. And it's so cute. I think you're gonna absolutely love it. And just do a couple more. I have just a little bit of heat embossing right at the bottom, and it's kind of hot. Don't hold your gun in one place for too long. Okay. All right. We're going to let that cool for just a couple minutes, and I know it's really hard to see. I don't think you can see it. But anyways, we have the border trimmings on the one side. Okay, now we have our little chamois. We're going to clean the stamp. The reason why is that it probably has some residue of that embossing ink, and the last thing we want to do as we measure out where we're placing the next part of the border trimmings is for us to have squiggly lines, because you know the embossing powder is kind of sticking to the card. So anyways, that's kind of one of the tips I can give you. I am bringing the door down so you can see where I'm placing the trimmings. So you can try to match the edges. I'm literally just going to make a border with it. So I'm going to bring this a bit closer, as close as I can without having the stamps touching each other, because we have the one that we just heat embossed. And then we have our little purple tape in the back, so it's holding it in place. So now we're going to repeat the same process. We're going to come in with our embossing ink. We're going to ink it up, and now we know that we're not going to have double stamping, double embossing here. And this is going to pop up when we start doing our ink blending. And by using 4 colors of ink blending, we're going to get a rainbow. So guys, are you so ready for the Studio Cadia new release? Did you see it on sneak peeks of other bloggers that went to Creativation? Let me know if there's anything specific that you're so excited about. My favorite thing, that I think it's out, I think it's available for purchase already, is the Studio Cadia embellishment wand. And I will pop it up here shortly. I actually left it over on my desk, and show you how cool it is. And I'm so excited that Cadia brought that in for us. And you know, she has a ton of beautiful embellishments, and I love her products. And it's pretty. On top of it being something that's efficient, it's a pretty pen. So we're gonna do one more. And then we're going to flip this over. Oh, and don't touch the parts that you just added fresh powder, or you'll have to go back just like I did. We were in a normal video, I would cut that out, but we're not, right? We are doing this, and that's okay. So guys, Valentine's Day is coming. This is kind of like this is a birthday card. Are you guys doing Valentine's Day? Do you do your own Valentines? I'm really interested. I have 4 kids. I usually just buy my Valentines. But this year, with the new release, I'm totally gonna make some. All right. Oh, I'm burning my paper. And I just realized that there's a difference by heat embossing in the top and heat embossing in the bottom. By heat embossing in the bottom, you get a more glossy finish. I don't know if it's just because it just heats it enough. And then on the top, I'll show you guys when I put the color on it, it's more grainy. So something to consider as we do our heat embossing. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in, as that cools off, I'm gonna bring in a sheet of paper here, and I'm gonna scoot in my camera. All right. Yes, I use purple tape for everything. There we go. And the reason I am zooming you guys in is because I want to show you the ink blending. I feel like, there we go. Just kind of refocusing. Sorry. Not trying to move you there. And what was I saying? Okay, blending. So we're going to use 4 colors, and with these 4 colors, we're going to achieve a rainbow look, I promise. So I'm going to be using the Studio Cadia blenders, and they're really, really pretty, and they're small, and I think that's my favorite thing about the blenders. So I know there's a million different kinds of ink blenders, but these are really my favorite just because they get into the little crevices and you don't have to press too hard. We're going to begin with the worn lipstick. And I already have mine. I don't wash them because I kind of like to have one for each color family. So, you know, one for pinks, one for reds, one for blues, if that makes any sense. And we're going to start at the top with this worn lipstick. And then we're just going to blend. All right. And so we have 4 colors. So you really only have to think about doing quarters of your card. So then I'm going to move on to the scattered straw, which is the yellow. And I'm going to use a new brush for this one. Grab that color. And then we're going to add it right in the middle of where our quarter would have been. So if you think of an imaginary line. And the reason why is that this is going to be the darkest part. So when you blend with this pink, it's going to make it like an orangey color. And that's how you end up getting your rainbow look, because then you have those 2 colors mixing in together. And if you find that it has way too much yellow, then you can always go back when you're done with your yellow, because it is our lightest color, and come back with that pink that's still on the blender brush and blend those 2 to create that beautiful little orangey color. And then come back on top and add more of that pink, because we kind of drag that color out down, and now you have a really pretty gradient. So now we are completely done with this pink. We're going to set our scattered straw aside and move on to our next color, in this case being broken china. I know you can't see what I'm doing over on the left, but I'm putting my little blender back. My goal this year is to be a cleaner, or more, or not cleaner, or more organized crafter. Is there such a thing? I don't think there is such a thing, but I'm trying to put things away as I work. And I'll let you know in 3 months if that is still going on. I think that's as long as resolutions go. No, that's not true. But that's what I'm trying here, is putting things away. Okay. And then we're going to blend up. But before we do that, I'm going to bring in my 4th color, being wilted violet. And we're going to add wilted violet down to our next quarter. And then we can blend. And for the reason why is I want to be sure that I'm not going to run out of room. I love dark colors. I am using Distress Oxide, so you don't have to. I am going to spritz a little bit of water just to give it a little bit of dimension to it, but you really don't have to. I'm going to grab a little scrap of paper here to hold down, because I don't want to have inky fingers. And then we're going to blend up. Okay. Blend, blend, blend. So you guys, do you own Distress Oxides? You, like I said, you have to use you can use whatever you want. You gotta. But I wonder how many of us went for the Distress Oxides when they were released. Last Creativation. Right? No, they released more colors for last Creativation. I think that's what that was. We went and bought them all, didn't we? Guys, comment below for a chance to win one of those gift cards. And then if you're watching on rewatch, be sure to click share. And we do see everybody that shares. So we appreciate you sharing with your friends and family. And hopefully they get inspired to pull out some of their craft supplies and stamp away. And sometimes you see a tutorial that's not using some of the products that you got. But hey, let's say you got some of the border trimmings, not necessarily the Christmas ones that we're using, the gift ones, but you have something else like flowers, and you can do the same thing with the flowers. And I really like being able to use one supply for multiple purposes. So, all right, now we're gonna come down, and we are going, we're gonna grab the blue and we're gonna blend it up towards the yellow. And it's kind of nice already that this green or this blue is already kind of dry. Very lightly blend, and then we're going to bring back this yellow and then bringing this down. So it creates that green that we're trying to achieve for our rainbow. And we are almost done with that. And then we're going to come back with the blue. So just lots of ink blending, but I feel that it's still a lot faster to do ink blending than coloring, right? Especially when you're using these beautiful stamps that have a lot of detail. Now you've created a very pretty rainbow with 4 colors, which makes it super easy when you're using minimal supplies. So I'm going to grab my mini mister. Here it is. And I'm just going to spray sideways. It's going to fall down, but it's not going to fall in a sense that's going to make huge droplets or so little droplets that it looks sprayed. Okay, and I have my hand. Now it's wet, and that's okay. But it kind of shields the rest of my stuff from getting wet, and then that water kind of just bounces off. So there we have it. We're going to let it dry for just a couple seconds, and then we can begin assembling our card. So if you have a nice dry chamois or piece of paper towel, you come in and you remove any of that color that is sitting on top of our embossing, and it exposes it to reveal that color, and that's what is called a Distress Oxide or Blend Oxide Resist. And you can do this with any ink as long as it's water-based, because it's not going to stain the embellishment. All right, so you know what I was talking about by heating in the bottom. So this is heated in the bottom right here. See how it's just a clean edge? And I know some of this is just stamping. This is heated on the top. It dispersed my my stamping, and it made it look a little bit messier. It's still beautiful. I'm really happy with the way it looks, but I just wanted to show you why my reason and process was by stamping or by heat embossing on the bottom of our heat embossing stuff. And that makes any sense. That was totally convoluted. All right, it is almost bedtime, right? Almost bedtime. No, this is super quick. I'm being slow about it because I love to conversate with y'all and see what you guys are doing today and what the plans are for tomorrow. What time is it where you're at? Let me know what you guys are doing. So I'm going to add some adhesive to the back, just basic roller. And I'm going to do my best on trying to center this. Okay. All right. And there you have how I love the clean edge with the white. And now we're going to move on to our sentiments. So we're going to use the happy birthday. And we're going to do this on a piece of white cardstock. So let me grab an acrylic block. Thought I set one out, but I did not. All right, and we're gonna stamp that on black. So I'm gonna bring in my acrylic block. And you can see my acrylic block is a wreck. It needs cleaned, and you can clean your acrylic blocks with alcohol. It just cleans off that ink. And then I'm gonna grab my little strip. Here we go. Here, do I have a straighter one? I do have a straighter one, yay. And we're gonna use this black ink and ink it up. Okay. And if you mess it up, you can just flip it over and stamp again. We'll see if we're gonna need to do that or not. We're not, sweet. Okay. Move this out of the way. And I'm gonna trim this. So I'm gonna bring in my trimmer. And I would normally do it with scissors. However, I am noticing that my edges have been a bit crooked. So it doesn't take that long to get that trimmer out. Now we are going to grab the mega roll of Studio Caddy adhesive. It doesn't even fit in the frame. I know I'm a little bit zoomed in, but this thing is massive, and this is brand new. So you guys are getting a first look at me using the white version of the Studio Caddy roll. My goodness, I am not on my game today. I need my scissors. I apologize. This is live crafting though, right? That is what live crafting is losing our supplies in the middle of it. We're gonna add this happy birthday. Okay. And we're gonna pull that backing. And we're gonna place it right on the center, and look how cute. Now, as promised, da, 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 I have the Studio Caddy and adhesive. And, all right, I know, I walked away from the frame. This is the Studio Caddy embellishment wand. It comes with this little holder, and I love it because that way your stuff isn't falling off. You can really hold it, and then you flip it over and you use it to press down on your embellishments. Really, really like this thing. It comes in this beautiful case, and it holds it in place so you're not rattling your tip. There you go. So you can travel with it. Okay. Then I said I wasn't going to give you a sneak peek, but I am going to give you a sneak peek. We're going to be using one of the newest embellishments, and I've never seen anything like this before, so I wanted to bring it in and show it to you. And we're going to use it on our happy birthday card because it just needs a little bit of something, but it doesn't need color, if that makes any sense. So we're going to use these iridescent bubbles, and these are in tiny. That really is the name. And it really just explains what they are. They're tiny bubbles. I am using Mono Aqua Clear. And I like to add where I'm going to add my tiny little bubbles first. And then I come in with my Studio Caddy wand. So I'm going to pump that up. Ta-da! And then you just press down. Let me bring it up to camera. And it grabs it. And then you press it down. You grab it. You don't, literally, there's no force to this. You let the tip grab it. And you can see there's not like a time frame that you have to set it down. Super easy. Better than tweezers or anything out there. And it's so pretty. And then we're going to do it. The price point is fabulous, of course. Thank you, Katya. And I think that this is revolutionizing how we craft and how we embellish. Right? Oh, there's one more. And so I'm trying to flip that over. Okay. Come on. My hand is super sweaty and sticky. See? There we go. That's the difference between grabbing it from your hand and grabbing it from a plate or the Studio Cadia triangle tray. And I would use my triangle tray, but I don't know where it is. So there's that. So guys, that does it. How cool is that? Super pretty. You get a little bit of iridescent tiny bubbles. It's not taking away from the card at all. We're using some border trimming stamps for a different purpose to create a background. We did rainbow with 4 colors. Then we did basic stamping, and it all came out really clean and really pretty and super easy card to mass produce. Even if you weren't heat embossing it and you were just stamping, it would look really pretty. So guys, thank you. Be sure to comment both on Facebook or YouTube, depending on where you're watching from. And if you share, that'd be awesome. Give us a thumb like. Let us know that you are here. And guys, that's it for me, Crystal Thompson. Have a lovely, lovely evening. And if you're watching later, have a lovely day. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.